G'day everyone. The Hundred-Eyed Daoist Master is a pretty tough boss thanks to being quite tanky and having a real jank hitbox. That was actually one of the hardest parts of the fight. I do have one very simple but effective tip to help connect with his hitbox far more often. It was a drastic game changer for me. So let's look at his combo and ability breakdown, and then I'll show you my no-hit kill with a bit of commentary and discussion. When he releases his sword and it hovers vertically in front of him like this for a moment, he's about to do a two-part attack. After a moment's delay, he's going to shoot the sword at you and it's going to stick down into the ground. It'll then release a follow-up pulse of lightning. Now it's easy to get distracted by the sword here, but if you want to dodge this easily, stop looking at the sword, ignore it, and you want to be looking at him. For the first dodge, you want to be watching his right arm, and as soon as he throws it down towards the ground, you want to dodge once. Watch this in slow-mo. Now for the second dodge, same thing. Ignore the sword in the ground, you want to be watching for his two arms, and as they reach the kind of pinnacle above his head, he's about to rip his elbows down, that's your cue to dodge. And again in normal speed, you want to be watching that right arm first as it goes down, that's your first dodge, and then as his hands touch at the top of his head, that's your second dodge. Now when he releases his sword and it hovers in front of him horizontally like this, he's about to do a standalone, single and fast shoot of the sword towards you. Now for the dodge cue here, I used his left arm. As that arm bends in and reaches a 90-degree angle close to touching his leg, that would be my dodge. When the boss raises his left hand with the spinning gold paper and all the rubble starts to rise, he's about to shoot a golden projectile at you. When you see this coming, wait until his left arm goes all the way down across his body before dodging. In general, you want to try and dodge this forward or to the left and right, don't go backwards. In phase 1, when he rears up on his back legs like this, he's about to do a 3-part attack. It'll be the initial slam with his front 2 legs, followed by a slash of the sword, and then after a decent delay, a very slow and powerful lightning charged uppercut. Don't dodge too early on the last one, it's very delayed. Wait until you start to see the sword move. This is a good target for Rock Solid because it's easy to see coming and it actually interrupts the rest of the combo, he won't finish it. And just so you know your options, you can Rock Solid that last powerful hit as well. His basic sword combo starts high on his left like this, and his little bits of paper are just normal, they're not gold. This is a simple 3-part combo, back-to-back slashes for the first 2, and then after a short delay he'll do an overhead slam. All 3 of these hits can be deflected easily with Rock Solid, including the last powerful one overhead. Sometimes he'll close the gap with you by doing a bit of a flourish into a ground drag of his sword and a single uppercut slash. This is just one delayed dodge. Wait until you can hear the gravel sound for a moment. When he starts with his left hand high and all 3 bits of paper glowing gold, it's about to be a 4-part attack. The first 2 will be swipes back and forwards with his golden paper bits into a delayed slash, followed by another, even more delayed, lightning charged uppercut. Your first 2 dodges are pretty much back to back, basically no delay. Put a small delay before your third one where he does the little fake spin, and then the lightning uppercut has a pretty considerable delay. For the lightning charged uppercut, dodging forward and to the left will give you the most reliable chance of dodging it. You can sometimes just run to the left, but dodging's more reliable. When he sticks his chin up and puffs his chest out to his right like this, he's about to do a bit of poison vomit. Just dodge once through it to the left. As you can see, if you don't, you get the poison status. You can actually also Rock Solid this, which deflects his arm as it comes through. Alright, now for one of the more annoying abilities. When he backs off and tunnels underground, he's about to come up underneath you and skewer you from beneath. If you miss the dodge here, this will hit you and do a bit of a cutscene grab attack type thing. The dodge timing on this is tricky, but there is both visual and audio cues to help you with this. Now what we're looking for is 3 little arcs of lightning, and the 3rd arc of lightning is our cue to dodge immediately. Let's see them in slow-mo. Alright, and watching for the 3 here. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3, and as soon as you register that, you're dodging. Alright, watch them now in normal speed, it's much quicker and you need to be ready for that 3rd one. The 3rd one is actually a kind of thicker and chunkier bolt of lightning, so that does help to see it. The 1st and 3rd also make a noise. Listen here, I'll turn it up. So you should be both watching and listening for that 3rd bolt of lightning and immediately dodging. Alright, now at around 60% health-ish, I'm not exactly sure, he's going to transition where he'll throw his sword at you and do a little bit of a backflip underground. The sword will spin on the spot for a second and you want to dodge away from that once or twice. He'll do a little tail flick around where the sword is, that's why I said get away from it. And then we're listening out for a little high-pitched ting noise, which is going to indicate that the sword is coming flying in. A moment after that, probably 1 Mississippi, you want to dodge. Listen here. Once the sword lands in the ground, you want to follow that up with another dodge or 2 away from it because he's going to strike up underneath it. Now after that transition, there'll be a few new things. For example, after he shoots this sword at you like this, he's going to follow that up with a run and then 2 slashes, which you can also Rock Solid as you see there. He has a new front leg attack where he lifts one significantly more than the other, like he is on the left here, which after a significant delay, he'll do a single downwards thrust of his sword into the ground. He has a new sword combo that starts on his right this time. It'll be 2 quick slashes, a delay and a fake spin into a third slash, and then after another delay, he'll start casting this like lightning blast that'll do an area of effect. You just need to dodge away from that last one. When he throws his gold paper at you and then goes into this lightning animation you see here, he's about to hit you with a continual barrage of his little paper bits. You can kind of run and dodge away from these, but staff spin's the most reliable. Just be aware it goes for a while and you might run out of stamina. When he waves his hand down like this and his little bits of paper fly at you, he's about to do a 3-part combo ending with a grab attack. He does the initial downward slash, followed by one of those very slow lightning charged uppercuts. And as soon as you dodge the uppercut, you need to follow it immediately with another roll so you can dodge this grab attack. When he thrusts his sword in the air like this, he's about to shoot 3 projectiles of lightning at you, 2 fast and then 1 delayed. Now when his HP gets to around 30 or 40%, he's going to go underground and he's going to return to the center of the room if he's not already there, and he'll throw his sword into the ground. This is his transition into phase 2, and this is where you want the Weaver's Needle. Once he starts this animation, activate the Weaver's Needle, which shoots off and skewers all 100 of his eyes that he's kind of summoning into this big dome, and then he'll be significantly reduced in power for the rest of the fight. Shortly after that, you'll get a little cutscene where he gobbles up his sword and goes Hulk mode, and then we get the joy for the rest of the fight of having a completely new moveset, so let's have a look at that. He nearly always starts phase 2 with this big loop-to-loop into a really nasty grab attack. You need to be really patient here and wait until he comes all the way around face on like this, and his left arm is outstretched to the side. Once he hits that position, you're just doing 1 dodge. He can keep doing this throughout the rest of the fight as well. It's really easy to dodge too early here. Make sure you're patient and wait for him to get to that position. When he drops into this lower stance with both hands glowing like this, he's about to do a lunging grab attack. 1 dodge the moment you see his hands start to move is all you need. When he does a little roll to his left like this, he's about to do a single standalone uppercut with his tail. This does feel quite delayed. I'm watching for his head here, and as soon as it disappears behind his body, that's what I'm dodging. When he does a counterclockwise tail swipe like this, he's about to do another single and standalone tail slam. This time he'll jump up into the air, and at the height of his jump, dodge once into him. This attack is just a single, slow, charged up AoE lightning. Once you see him start to kind of release his shoulders back a little bit, dodge once in any direction. His leg slam attack is a little different again. When he lifts his left leg alone like this, he's about to do a single left leg slam, followed by a right-legged slam, and then he's going to follow that after a pretty significant delay with 3 lightning pulse things, right? 2 fast and then 1 slow. When he starts with a bit of a circular wave with his right hand and his paper goes gold, he's about to do a single tail slam, followed by his big AoE ground slam. Now he does this finisher with a few of his other attacks in this phase. When this happens, you want to be fixated on his 2 hands as they come up above his head and get to either side of the little lightning orb that he's charging. He'll pause for the slightest moment with his hands either side before slamming down, and that's the moment that you want to dodge once into him. Now most of these so far in phase 2 have been 1 or 2 part combos, so when his little bits of paper go gold and start swirling rapidly like this in a little ball, this is the first proper combo we have. It's going to be a 5-part combo, 4 very slow and delayed tail slams followed by his big AoE ground attack. These 4 tail slams are pretty delayed, sometimes you don't even realize this is a combo. Don't try and attack when this is happening, just wait and dodge. And he'll finish with the big AoE ground slam that I just showed you before. Alright, when he does 2 lightning charged swipes like this, starting with his left hand high, he's about to do 2 swipes back to back, and then he'll start charging a little lightning orb, and after a short moment of charging, he'll do a frontal fire cone punch, which you need to dodge left or right. There's another variation of this where he's going to start in his right hand this time. This will be again 2 swipes followed by charging that lightning orb, but this time he's going to come down and do a tail slam on top of the orb, followed by his big AoE ground slam that we've seen. Now I didn't get to test every version of this, but I noticed in this phase that rock solid, if it interrupted his combo, so typically for his leg attacks or his hand attacks, he would stagger back for a moment and then go into a tail slam and a triple lightning blast. It didn't seem to interrupt his combos on the heavier tail slams, and he just continued on, so I'd recommend just restricting it to tail slams only in the last phase. Alright, so let's watch my no-hit kill here while I go over some general discussion and tips that should help you get this boss down, or at least make it a little easier. Let's start by talking about his hitbox first though. This space here at the front of him, between his front 2 legs and kind of under his torso, is a bit of a dead zone. Your attacks just aren't going to connect. So if you find yourself chaining light attack combos into the front there and just hitting nothing, The thing that made the biggest difference for me was just to stop holding W on my keyboard, or for people on a controller, stop holding forward on your joystick. When you do this, you're trying to give directional control to your attacks, whereas if you let go and just don't give it any directional input, as long as you're close enough, which is not too hard, this skill here in the martial tree, Swift Engage, is going to take over and just snap you to the closest point of contact. Doing this made the biggest single difference for me. Now don't get me wrong, you're still going to miss a few attacks here and there, but it's not nearly as bad doing this. You'll still find things like your heavy attacks can just miss. Look at this point blank heavy attack with 3 focus points in the smash stance. Just misses him, hits him nothing. How does that happen? 3-point smash stance heavy attacks I found to be the worst. Pillar and thrust stance were kind of okay, and 4-point smash stances worked the best. Look at this one, closing a massive gap and staying with him. So stop holding forward movement during light attack combos, and consider this in your choice of heavy stance. I recommend smash stance using only 4-point heavy attacks, or the pillar stance if you prefer. The other single biggest thing you can do to prepare is to have the Weaver's Needle vessel. Skip to the timestamp at the end if you don't have the Weaver's Needle and don't know what I'm talking about. So because of his dodgy hitbox and big health pool, if you usually rely on a pluck of many to brute force the boss and do a lot of your damage, you'll probably find this fight a little harder. Because he's tankier and a lot of those hits from the pluck of many illusions aren't going to hit, it's not going to do as much as it usually does. So unfortunately, there's no real easy way to cheese this, and you kind of just have to learn the mechanics. It's one of those fights. So let's talk a little about what I'm doing here. We're about halfway through the fight. As you saw there, I'm exclusively using 4-point smash stance heavy attacks, and that's because I think they're the best and most reliable way to actually connect with his dodgy hitbox. I'm using the red-haired Yaksha spirit fully upgraded to increase the damage of those heavy attacks passively, and I've got these points in the smash stance mainly just to get to the 4-point heavy attack. To generate focus to get these 4-point light attacks off, as you've seen, I'm using just light attacks, but I'm also getting a lot of focus out of rock solid deflections, combining that with the armor set, tough iron armor, as well as the full rock solid skill tree. This means the Nick of Time skill is generating quite a lot of focus. It's nearly a full bar. Now for the rest of my spark points, I'm using only a few points in the immobilized tree. This is mainly just for the damage at the top left and the mana return at the bottom left there. Use this regularly throughout the fight along with rock solid. As always, I've got the whole stamina tree. In the martial tree, I've only taken the top 2. Top one is for your engage distance, that's really useful to snap to those hitboxes, as well as the focus generation on the second one there. In survival, you want the damage, the crit damage, and the critical strike chance to hit those big 4-point heavy attacks, and then defense and health is just always good if you've got some spare points. In the transformation passives, I also recommend Steadfast. It gives the most defense per spark point, and Cold Edge just helps with our rock solid cooldown. Finally, I'm using the Golden Lung Staff. I know this is stronger with Pillar Stance, but I did some testing and it actually still hits harder with the Smash Stance. It just makes your Pillar Stance stronger if that's what you prefer. And that's a no-hit kill. If this helped you, please like, comment, and subscribe. It'll help me out a bunch. And thanks for listening. If you've already got the Weaver's Needle, stop watching here because the rest of this is not going to be useful for you. I'm just going to talk a little about the Weaver's Needle. So the Weaver's Needle is a vessel similar to the one that you might have used on the Yellowwind Sage, and when you use it on this boss as he enters that phase 2, it'll pull him back out of the phase and make him significantly easier for the rest of the fight. You definitely want this for this fight. To get the Weaver's Needle, you need to beat the Duskvale boss, who is hidden in the Purple Cloud Mountain, which is the secret area of Chapter 4. If you haven't been here or haven't done this area yet, I highly recommend you look up a specific guide for this. It involves a few steps of fighting the Venom Daoist boss at different spots, and then accessing a secret entrance to the Purple Cloud Mountain. Once you've found the Purple Cloud Mountain secret area, there's another little bit of content there. There's another 3 bosses or so, and Duskvale is the last one of those. And the Duskvale is another pretty tough boss. I just did a guide on that a few days ago on my channel if you want to check that out as well to help. This should be enough to find your way to another guide that'll get you where you need to go. Thanks for listening, everyone. Cheers.